AskReddit by Lurker. What's the most fricked up thing you've done for money? NSFW. When I was back in school I had a good friend who was getting bullied quite badly. He was scared to stand up to the guy bullying him as he was quite small. He paid me the holy sum of a Mars bar to hit his bully round the back of the head with a fire extinguisher. Cue an unconscious 12-year-old and me getting a rather long suspension from school and interviewed by the police. I was such a douchebag back then. Edit. To clarify, we were all in the same year at school. I was just a bit of a loose cannon back then. As others have said, it wasn't the high-pitched ding sound you'd expect. More a dull thud. No lasting injuries, brain damage occurred. The guy I hit was a real nasty piece of work, but I agree I took it too far and felt genuinely guilty after. The Mars bar was pretty freaking epic. My girlfriend sold panties to a man for $250 as long as he could see her take them off in front of him. We were hard up for money, so I'd drive her there and keep an eye on her. Then one day we had sex in front of him for $400. He complimented the size of my willy and then never emailed again. I think I destroyed the fantasy for him. Jesus Christ. I know, right? Like, how did you find this guy? Specifically how? Like, is there a website or something? Could you direct me to it? Just so I know to avoid it. Craigslist. I know it's pretty greasy, but we were both really poor at the time and she's smoking hot. He constantly asked her to frick him and she always said no, which led to him jacking up the price for the panties hoping to tempt her. I stood in his doorway and said I was her gay cousin just to make sure he wouldn't try anything. The day I fricked her he realized I was her boyfriend. And not to brag, but I have a really big willy and he said I put him to shame as soon as I pulled it out. I knew then and there he realized that a 60-year-old would never measure up to a hung 20-something and he never emailed again. I was a male prostitute for about 18 months. It just kind of happened. My GF broke my heart, so I hit the gym super hard. I am a bartender at a restaurant that is near a massive office park, so there are a bunch of big hotels in the immediate area. After a few months of going to the gym 5-6 days a week, I started getting propositioned by a lot of female bar customers constantly. Most of them were traveling business professionals staying at the hotels that neighbor my restaurant. I was being slipped the hotel room key almost every night. One night I had a woman kind of shamelessly begging me to come up to her room after my shift, and I half jokingly half not asked her how much it would be worth to her. When she paid her tab she left me a $150 tip on a $35.40 tab and told me that she was expecting me when I got off. That's how it started, and I just worked that angle every time I had a woman ask me to go back to her room. The women were between moderately attractive and very attractive, mostly in their mid to late 40s. I had a few that were younger and a couple that were as old as 65. I was getting repeat customers. Hell, I had regulars. Most of the women I would have slept with for free. There were times that I left one hotel room and went to another. I think a lot of them got a rise out of paying for it and kind of felt like they were objectifying me, and I was there only for their entertainment and enjoyment for the time I was in their room. I can't say there was anything too crazy. Mostly me going to rooms and smashing. Occasionally I would get a request to wear something weird or get spanked and I would oblige. I got pegged a few times. I ended up stopping because the hotels started catching on to me. I was worried I was going to get reported. Now I am married and out of shape and I never get propositioned. I'm a straight guy and I knew a gay man who I was acquaintances with. He always joked with me and hit on me. One day I was hard up for cash and I asked to borrow $40. He said he would give me $80 if I let him suck my willy. I thought real hard and figured, frick it, I ain't gay and I am broke. I'll just close my eyes. Was very strange getting a BJ while not being aroused mentally or into it. But did you not though? Oh yeah. He gave head like a champ. One of the best BJs I've ever had, top 5 to this day, strangely enough. If anyone ever offers you such a proposition, take it. You only live once and it ain't going to kill you. Hell, you may even be able to tell a bunch of internet strangers one day. When I was homeless, I hung around with some other homeless people. It's really interesting, actually. Lots of different cliches, some worse than others. Kinda like school, but all adults, young adults. Anyway, I quickly realize who to avoid, junkies and alcoholics, and find out where the junkies hide their stash at night. Since we all lived out of a homeless shelter, I waited until everyone was in for the night, middle of winter, -10°C. I stay out all night, nearly freeze to death, but managed to score 10 plus hypodermic needles and the heroin to go with them. Not my proudest moment, but it got me 300 and apparently the person who is belonged to cleaned up shortly after, so I don't feel too bad about it. Not sure if I got undercut, but I gave them to a friend better connected than me in the underground side of my city, so if he took a seller's fee, I really can't blame him. Late one night in my 20s in Okinawa, an overweight female bartender at a dodgy karaoke bar asked to see my willy. It was pierced at the time. I quipped that it would cost her $10. She joked back that for $10 I should be naked. Welp, the other bartenders all threw into the pot, including a really attractive one, and so did some of the customers, mostly dudes who thought it would be funny to call my bluff. All told, I made around $120 to drink a beer in the nude while being jeered by a bunch of drunk expats. Guess I could put semi-pro stripper on my resume. Edit. There it is. Folks, my top comment. Drinking naked in an Okinawa bar with a pierced willy. Found the Marine. Someone had to pay a Marine to show his pissed junk. They could have just waited for it. It was inevitable. Was bartending at a very busy city nightclub catering to the after-work Friday corporates, in a small busy back bar next to the dance floor that has only myself and another staff member. Our section was about as busy as any bar can be. Anyway, this suited smarmy twat is leaning all over the bar trying to chat up girls, taking up all the space meaning no one else could get served. Asked him once, twice, 3 times for his order, and each time he stated he turned away to tell some joke or slimy pickup line. Totally knobhead. He takes out his wallet, and as he takes his eyes off me again and looks towards a girl, about $1,000 in $100 notes falls out and plops into my ice well. Time slows down. I speed up. I bury that freaking cash with ice in a nanosecond. He looks back at me feeling, knowing something has happened but can't tell what. I then politely offer to pay for his drink if he would like to complete his order. He orders, takes his drinks and leaves. I wait 10 minutes and recover the cash along with a baggie of coke that fell into the ice well. By the end of the night, my fellow bartender and I had finished the coke and spent the cash. I spent 5 years in China teaching ESL. In addition to the school I worked for, I took private students as well. One was a successful but bored plastic surgeon. 90% of his business was the same 3 surgeries. So he wanted to learn English to break up the tedium. He would call me at random times with little or no notice and ask if I wanted to come over and give him a lesson. So one night he called me to come to his office. Very normal. But when I got there, the nurse was giving me booties and a hairnet and telling me to scrub my hands. Before I knew it, I was in the operating room giving him an English lesson while he performed a nose job. I shit you not, I barely made it through. The surgery channel makes me lightheaded, and I was catching the live show. Pretty much scarred for life now. Edit. He wasn't performing surgery on me. It was someone else's nose job. I was just an observer. It was a violation of like all known procedures of sterility and cleanliness in the OR, too. China is basically the Wild West. Was at family dinner and my uncle complained that my aunt burnt the green beans. As a joke, he said he would pay anyone $50 to eat the whole bowl. He did not expect me to take him on the offer. This was a dinner bowl meant for like 14 people. So that night I didn't eat an actual dinner, just an obscene amount of green beans. Surprised I didn't barf, and I had interesting weird sheets for the next 2 days. Edit. You bet your ass I got the money, and $50 I assume. The bet was actually to eat the bowl, not the green beans, so no. Drank a glass of unknown liquids that friends made in 8th grade. Ended up getting jaundice 2 days later and full on liver failure in the hospital for 2 weeks after that. So many things were added that the doctors couldn't identify the root cause, and I just had to wait it out or end up getting a liver transplant. But I earned a $0.25. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. When I was a kid, I filmed my neighbors having sex to sell copies of the tapes to other kids at school. They had a big bay window, and if I sat on my roof I could see right in. They thought they had privacy on that side of the house since we were the only nearby neighbors and there was a large cedar hedge between the houses, up on an embankment. But sitting up on the roof I could see right in, no problem. When I told kids at school about it, one kid stole his parents' video camera and some tapes and then we split the profits from selling the tapes. Pretty good money for the time, $10 per copy. But yeah, pretty fricked up when I think about it. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Leave your favorite story in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Also, check some of these other videos out. See your beauties next time.